Okay guys, so what do we have here? We've got these translucent Kroger brand plastic cups. I'm going to show you what I'm going to use these for. And we've got these foam cups here that we're going to use to actually put the potting soil in and stuff, and for this, you know, seeds for the seedlings. These are just awesome. They're really cheap, and you know, you get a lot of them, and you know, it's better than buying those pots at the store, and you know, just you get more for your money. And not only that, once your plants are ready to transplant, you don't even have to take the plant out of the cup. You just cut the cup apart, peel it apart, and then, you know, transplant the plant without worrying about damaging the roots or anything. So that's great, right? So, all right. So what I like to do here is, for each plant, I use 2 styrofoam cups and 1 of the translucent plastic cups. Okay. So what I do with these is I take 1 of the cups, and I like to take these skewers to do this. It makes it a lot easier. And we're going to poke some holes in the bottom. And this is for drainage, so that the water can easily drain from the soil. And we're just going to poke quite a few holes in here, make sure we have really good drainage. The great thing about these cups is that the edge of it has a lip, so it sits on top of the other cup, sorta, and you get a little bit of space on the bottom for your water to drain to. So if we take this now, the way it looks, and basically, you know, put it in here, we've got about this much space from the bottom for the water to drain to. So you'll just want to, you know, lift that out every now and then and just dump the water out. So from here, we can go ahead and put our potting soil in, but what I like to do first is, instead of using a plastic bag like a lot of people do with a rubber band, is these things actually almost fit perfectly over top of here. So you just kind of have to squeeze it in a little bit, work it in, and once you do that, you can see the lip actually starts to form to the plastic cup. You just keep kind of working it in. Don't push too hard, because the styrofoam cup will just crumble for you, and you got to start over. Okay, so once you've got that in there, you got a really nice tight seal, and you know, put that in here, and you've got a little greenhouse, right? So now we're gonna do, got our cup ready. Next time we just put it on top, and it fits perfectly. All right, so we've got our cup ready, and here's the potting mix that we made earlier. I put it in a smaller pot so I can actually put it on my desk here. So we're just gonna go ahead and fill this cup up. I like to fill it all the way to the top, because once we add some water to it, the soil is going to compact a little bit, and it's going to the soil is going to compact a little bit, and it's actually going to sink into the cup. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this up with water, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back, and as you can see, we've now got our soil all nice and moist. And when you fill this up, just go ahead and fill it up all the way with water, and just let the water seep through the bottom until it's done. And then go ahead and put it in the other styrofoam cup. And there you go. Looks pretty good, huh? The other great thing about these styrofoam cups, they're easy to label, right? So here we're going to have some cayenne peppers. So let's just go ahead and label this. Don't judge me on my penmanship. I type on the computer most days. So cayenne. And we also want to make sure that we know that these are organic heirloom seeds, because if we save these and maybe try to give some seeds away, or give some to a friend, or sell them even, you know, we want to make sure that we know that they're heirloom seeds. Okay, so now that we've got everything set up, we can go ahead and put the lid on it. And there we go. Got ourselves a nice little greenhouse. Now I'm going to do this very same procedure. You know what? I totally forgot something. We don't have everything all set up. You guys probably caught it. We need to put these seeds in here. Not going to grow anything if we don't put any seeds in, right? Okay, so what you want to do is create a little opening in the center, about a quarter inch deep. Right? Should have just used my finger, it would have been easier. Okay. We got about a quarter-inch hole in here. And what we want to do is plant 3 seeds just to make sure we get at least one that sprouts. The odds go up, you know, once you add in more seeds. And once you've got your seeds in here, make sure they're a little separated. Don't try to clump them all together. Go ahead and just slightly put the soil back over them. Okay, so now we've got them nice and covered. Got nice moist soil for our seeds. Okay, now we are ready to put the lid on. And this time we may actually get some growth. So, here we go. Now, I'm going to go ahead and repeat this process about 8 or 9, maybe 10 more times, and get some different kinds of peppers going, just to have a little bit of variety. As you can see, I've got tons of pots here filled with soil. I haven't planted any seeds yet, but I just wanted to come back and show you how many cups we could actually fill with our mix that we made earlier, which was, again, 8 parts of potting soil, 4 parts of compost, and 1 part of perlite. We actually got 13 cups out of that. We have a baker's dozen for planting. How about that? So I'm going to go ahead and put some water in these and put some seeds in them and cover them up, and then we'll come back. I'll talk about the seeds that I've planted. What I'm going to do now, after I've got all these watered, so the soil is nice and moist. Don't be afraid to soak the soil in water and really get it, you know, really wet, because all that water, all that excess water is just going to drain out of those holes. We just want to make sure that the soil is really nice and moist for these seeds, so they'll sprout. So what I've gone and done is I've went ahead and laid out all these pepper seeds that we're going to plant. I've picked out the ones I wanted, so I'm going to do 2 of each plant and 3 seeds per pot. So we've got 3 seeds yet for the cayenne pepper for this pot here, and then we're going to do some early jalapenos, some black Hungarians, some sweet bananas, some serrano chilies, and some cherry hots. Make a little hole in here, about 1/4 inch deep, and let's go ahead and get out 3 seeds. It's a little more than 3, but okay, so we're going to put these in here. Make sure they've got a little bit of space apart from each other, and slightly cover them back up with soil. Okay. So these are good. So I'm going to put these back in here. Oh no, dropped one. Okay, put that in there. Close that up. All right. Put a little cover on it. And there we go. Something else I was going to mention earlier, I completely forgot, is for seeds to sprout, they require a lot of warmth. So, you know, you're not going to get seeds sprouting at like 40 degrees. It's just not going to happen. So you need moisture and you need heat. So to get moisture, you have to have heat. To trap moisture, you have to have this plastic dome on top. That's why some people use plastic bags and rubber band them around a cup. It's because it traps that moisture in there, and from that condensation, you're going to get back a lot of the moisture, keep the moisture in the soil. So when you put these out after you're done, you don't want to set these in direct sunlight. You want to keep them in a shady part and actually just, kind of like a darker part of the house or something that's still warm. You can put them outside, just don't put them in direct sunlight. Put them somewhere where there's a lot of shade. And once the seeds actually start to sprout, and we'll go over this in another video, we're going to start introducing them to a little indirect sunlight and then a little more direct sunlight as time passes. So another important thing, label these cups, okay? I've already done this once where I've planted all my peppers, every single one of them. And then I went and scooped all this up and put them all away, and then I went to look at my cups and I was like, oh wow, okay, well, what did I plant? I knew what I planted, I just didn't know which plant was. Now, the funny part is, when these are growing, you can barely tell them apart. You will not know which pepper is which. So the first thing you should do before you even put these seeds in these cups is label every single one of these cups. So let's go ahead and do that now, because it's honestly my least favorite part of this is labeling these cups. So let's just get that out of the way, huh? So these are going to be early. My Sharpie's wearing out, so let me just grab another one here. Purple. Another thing that I find is very important if you want to keep track of dates and stuff is to actually label when you've planted these. Okay, so we've got 5/28 today, right? So 5/28/15. And then what I'll do, and this is where this cup really comes in handy, is if you want to keep a log of how your plant is progressing over time, as you see your plant growing, draw a line and put the date next to it. Then you'll be able to, in years to come, you'll be able to, better gauge how quickly your plants are growing and how they're going to do. So this is a really great way to keep a log of that. So right now we're just going to mark when we've planted these. We're going to mark another date once they actually sprout so that we can keep track of germination. And that's pretty important, actually. To me it is to know how long it's going to take a plant to germinate, because you want to be able to plant these at a time several weeks before it's warm enough to plant them outside, so that you can get a nice head start on your garden. That is, if you're actually going to plant these outside. Some people, and I'm actually going to do this year, are growing pepper plants to keep in the house as houseplants. And this is actually something that is really fun to do, because there are certain varieties of peppers that actually will continue to produce peppers throughout the winter season. One that I know for sure will do this is most of the habaneros. They actually continue to produce peppers throughout the winter, as long as you keep them getting sunlight and don't let them get too cold. They'll do great. And a lot of these plants, and most people don't know, is that pepper plants are actually perennial plants. So they will actually come back after the winter. They will come back and give you another crop for, I think, 4 or 5 years, maybe even longer. Depends on how well you take care of them and what kind they are. So sorry, I'm labeling here. So Black Hungarians. Let's go ahead and start putting our seeds in here. Let's see, 3 more seeds out of here. cover them up with soil. You don't want to put too much pressure on this. You don't want to push it down too hard. You want to keep it nice and loose so that the seeds don't have too much of a hard time sprouting out from it. All right. Put a little greenhouse lid on it. There we go. Okay. All right. Let's do the early jalapeno. First, let's make some holes. Remember, guys, you only want to do about 1/4 of an inch deep for the holes. You don't want to bury these seeds too deep, or else they're just going to have a hard time coming up. Cover those up with some soil. One thing about gardening, you don't want to rush through any of this stuff. Take your time, do it right. If anything, gardening will teach you to be patient. It has taught me so much patience. I can't even begin to talk about how much more patient I am than I used to be. Patience was never, ever one of my strong suits. But with gardening, coming home from work every day and looking at the progress of my plants, and some days they just don't even look any different than they did the day before. Sometimes you'll catch a new leaf. Sometimes you'll catch the stem getting just a little thicker than what it was before. But for the most part, this is a very slow process. You're going to have to be very patient, and especially like when you're waiting for these seeds to sprout. This has got to be like the toughest part about the whole process, is waiting to see if the seeds are going to sprout. A lot of you are going to be tempted to move the dirt back a little bit and see if you've got a little root growing out of the seed. Don't do it. Just let it be. Wait for it. It'll eventually sprout. It may not. Sometimes it just doesn't sprout. And you're gonna have to deal with that, and understand that this is not a 100% deal. You're not gonna plant the seed and get 100% germination. It just doesn't happen. It's not the way it works. So you've got to be patient with these. Let them do what they need to do. I've planted peppers where one pepper germinated after I think 11 days, and I had I think 6 of these of the same. So, and I believe they were as a red bell that I was planting, and the first red bell came up after about 11 days. And then I didn't see another red bell germinate until maybe 3 or 4 days later. So they come up at various times. If they don't all come up at the same time, don't think that there isn't anything happening in these cups. Some of them just take longer. It's just the way it is. So be patient. Well, here's a nice example of I put too much water in this and I didn't wait to let it drain enough, so I'm gonna have to drain these out after I get the seeds in, and it's not a big deal. Get it done first. Go ahead and finish planting these. Sweet bananas. Actually, this thing came with 70 seeds and it was $1.78, so I am almost certain that these are not organic. Okay, cover these up. A lot of people just go and stick these seeds in their garden. And sometimes that works out great, but I found that with peppers, especially in climates like northern Arizona, where we have pretty cool nights and you know, hotter days, but the nights is what really kills these plants, because it can get to like 40s. They can easily get to 40s at nighttime, and then get to about 75, 80 during the day, and this is maybe around May. So it'll be a little different story when it finally hits summer, which is just around the corner. A few more weeks and we're going to be in 90-degree weather, I'm sure of it. And I'm ready for that. Ready to watch all these plants come to life. Now, these that I'm planting right now are probably not going to be planted outside ever, because I have started so late in the growing season doing this video that I just don't think that I have enough time to put these outside, because you're looking at least, I think, 2 to 3 months before you can transplant them to put them outside. I'll have to check on that, but we'll get into all that when we do the future update videos. So with it being almost June already, in 2 to 3 months we're going to be looking at August, September, when it already starts to cool down for fall. So you're just not going to get a full nice crop of peppers, but you can continue to grow these indoors and get them ready for next year, and then you'll have a really great head start on the growing season. And that's if you take really, really good care of them over the winter. If you guys have greenhouses that are heated, that would be a perfect spot to put these in over the winter. Hey guys, so that's it for today, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Like I said, this is like, what, now my second video. The one earlier was me mixing the soil. So I'm gonna probably do a lot of editing to this thing once I figure out how to do all that. I want to make sure that I'm not talking you guys to death or boring anybody. You know, I promise I'll get better with this over time. It's just right now I'm still a little nervous about like putting a video up on YouTube for the whole entire world to see. I've done a couple of others, not gardening related, more like technology. That's kind of more my field. But I want to do these gardening videos for you guys because mainly you know, I can't find any. Don't get me wrong, there are like tons of awesome gardening videos online, like tons of tips and tricks and great information from a lot of different YouTubers out there that do a wonderful job explaining all this stuff. But I wasn't like able to find a series of videos that take a plant from its seedling stage to its harvest stage and that explain the process all throughout, and you know, just all together as one series. Like what I found is a video on how to mix soil properly. Then I found a video on how where to store your plants so that they, you know, grow correctly, and then I found a video on what the best fertilizer is to use, and you know, what you should avoid and what some good peppers are and bad peppers are. And, you know, I'm going to attempt to cover all that in a series of videos in one place for you guys to just be able to reference back to. I am now ready to go ahead and get these covered back up and stored and put on my shelf. I've got everything potted up. I've got all the seeds in. I've got all the covers on. Maybe tomorrow I'll do another video and you know, show you guys some of the condensation on the plastic cups there, and that's pretty much it for now. So like I said, this is my second YouTube video now on gardening, and so I'm still rather new at it. Actually, I'm pretty new at it, really new at it. I don't know what to say half the time, so a lot of the times I sound like a complete idiot because I honestly, I'm not reading from a script because I think that's just stupid. It sounds rehearsed and it's not real. I don't like it when I watch videos and people sound like they're reading from a friggin' script. So I'm never going to do that. I don't care if I sound like an idiot until the end of time. I will not read from a script. So I'm going to leave you guys with a final thought. Help me figure out what to say at the end of my videos. I don't know how to close it the right way. Some people have some really cool like ending sayings like, oh, you know, peace or happy gardening or, you know, whatever. Give me a catchphrase. I can't think of one. Can't think of one to save my life. So until next time, I will see you guys soon. Have a happy... See? I can't do it. Yeah. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next week.